All right, we are ready to do math this fine, fabulous Friday, March 27th. Anybody remember what I want you to think about as you're doing math right now? What characteristic of God can be shown through math that we've been talking about this week? Yes, the fact that math stays constant. And our Heavenly Father stays constant. He is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And just like 1 + 1 is 2. So there's a characteristic to math that can help us see God in that. And so that is why that's what I want us thinking about right now as we are doing math. All right, so today, math lesson number 103, 103. And today is March 27th, and we are going to tell time to the quarter. That sounds really odd. I don't know if y'all have heard that yet or not, but before we start into the lesson, I just want to do a quick review that might help us here in just a little bit. So if I have $1, I have a dollar bill, imaginary dollar bill, and if I were to break that up into quarters, how many quarters would it take to make $1? Yes, 4. 4 quarters equals $1. Now, that knowledge can help us with our fractions that are cut into 4 parts. Or say our pizza is cut into 4 parts. Okay, we can call that fourths. Each of those is 1/4. Or taking our word up here, quarter, we can also call that 1/4. So right here I could read this 3/4, or I could read it 3/4. Okay, right here I could call that 1/4, or I could call it 1/4, and they would both be accurate and correct. Okay, so you can anything that has 4 parts, each part you can call either a fourth or a quarter. So keep that in mind as we are learning how to read the clock, maybe in a different way for you. So I've got my lovely little tripod now, so it's really easy to move. I'll move you over here. All right, so I have a clock right here. I don't have the hands written on it, but what I did is I showed it as a circle. Does everybody see my circle? And I went ahead and I numbered it like a clock would be numbered. And then I cut it in half. Okay, so I have half the circle or half the clock over here, and I have half the circle or half the clock over here. Now, everybody should remember that it takes a whole hour, I'm going to keep that, for the minute hand to go around the circle. Go all the way around, and then it changes from 2 o'clock, my fingers are in the way, changes from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. So how many minutes does it take to go in an hour for the minute hand to go all the way around? Yes, it takes 60 minutes for it to go all the way around. Now, we've already learned how to read a clock for the half hour or 5:30 or 6:30. We're just going to review that real quick, just a little bit. So if I cut it in half, it lines up with the 6 and the 12, doesn't it? So if my minute hand goes all the way around, here it's halfway, right? What is half of 60? Yes, it's 30, so 30 minutes. So I could read and say I am going to put my clock hands on here. My short hand is the hour. Remember, the short hand is short and the hour word is short. So that's how we remember. So I probably should have it halfway in between, shouldn't I? Because remember, it works its way to the 3. So it's halfway, pointing halfway in between the 2. And if I bring my minute hand down to the 6, it is halfway around. So I could read that in minutes by counting by 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Or I can look at it visually, and I know halfway around the clock would be 30, because 30 is half of 60. Or I could even read it. I could read it digital time, 2:30, using 30 as my minutes. Or I could say 2:30. The minute hand has gone halfway past 2. or I could read it and saying 30 minutes past 2. So there's several ways that you can read the half hour, okay, when it's in between the two hours. So it's in between 2 and 3, and I have my minute hand in between because it's working its way to the 3. And then I have my minute hand on the 6, which is halfway. So I can read it 2:30, half past 2, the minute hand has gone half past, or 30 minutes past 2. All right, so that takes us to our next concept of being able to read a clock by the quarter. Okay, so remember how many quarters are in a dollar? 4. Okay, so what if I cut my clock into 4 parts? I could call that fourths, but in the case of a clock, I'm not going to call it quarters. Okay, these are each quarters. Now, just like when I did the half mark, I read it as 2:30. Okay, what if I erase this now, because I'm going to think of the 3 and the 9 as my quarters. Okay, each quarter is 15 minutes. Let me point that out again. Each quarter is 15 minutes. Let's double check that. 5, 10, 15, 5, 10, 15, 5, 10, 15, 5, 10, 15. So yes. So at this 15-minute mark, let's do 2 o'clock again. I'm going to have my minute hand going to the 3. And I'm going to have my hour hand going to the 2. So here I can look at it as minutes, and I can read it digital time. And it's 5, 10, 15 minutes. Okay, that's a quarter way around the clock. Or I could read it quarter past 2. Okay, it's a quarter way past 2. It's 1/4 of the way around. Okay, so I could read it quarter past 2, or I could say the word after instead, and I could say quarter after 2. So when you hear that, I want you, because probably more of your older people, you're going to hear them use that terminology than maybe your parents' age. They may not use that. I don't know. I could be wrong. Okay, so that takes care of reading it at the 3 for the minutes. Now, so we did the 3 and we've done the 6. What if we did the 9 for the minute hand? Because that's a quarter. It's a quarter going this direction, right? 5, 10, 15. I wouldn't want to say like 2 3/4 going around the clock, or 3/4 past 2 necessarily. So we're going to read it in a different way. We're on our way to 3 o'clock, right? So I'm going to make it a little bit closer to the 3. We're almost to that 3. Not quite. Get a little bit more angle. Okay, so this is still a quarter. So could I say a quarter till, would it be a quarter till 2 or a quarter till 3? It's almost to the 3. We've already hit the 2 o'clock, so we're not going to 2 o'clock. We're headed for 3 o'clock. So we're going to say, we can either say 2:45 written in digital, or we can say quarter till 3 or quarter to 3. Either one of those will work. You're headed towards the 3 and you've got a quarter of the way to go. 5, 10, 15 minutes to go, which is a quarter of the way. Because remember, if I split it into fourths, this is a quarter. So if I go this way, it's a quarter after. And if I go this way, it's a quarter till the next hour. Okay? So now with that knowledge, what if I wrote it in words and you had to write it on for the clock? Let's see, can you see? I'll do it over here. What if I said a quarter after? Let's do a quarter after 4. That's an O, not an A. Quarter after 4. All right. So 4 is my hour. Okay, so when I draw this, my hour hand is the shorter hand, right? quarter after 4. So where would my quarter be? This is my half. So my quarter would be facing this direction. It's my minute hand that we're talking about, the quarter part. Okay, the quarter is your minutes. Okay, this is your hour. So a quarter, so if I cut it into fours, that would be a quarter. So a quarter after 4 would look like this. Okay, what if I did a quarter till 7? All right, so quarter till, that means I'm going towards the next hour. So it's quarter till 7, okay? So this is the next hour, so I gotta be careful. Quarter till 7, that's where I'm headed, so, but I'm not there yet. So my hour hand is going to be closer to the 7, but not past it, okay? Because it's headed in that direction to the 7. And quarter till tells me it's this side. I'm working towards the next hour, quarter till. So I have a fourth of the way to go to get to 7 o'clock. Okay, does that make sense? A little confusing. Practice with it. You can holler at me if you get stumped on something, please do, or mom or dad can help. But that is our math lesson for today. Make sure that you do lesson 103, side A and B. Please have mom and dad check it. Make sure you're staying on track. Don't want you practicing the wrong things. And then one-timed worksheet, minute and 15 seconds. Practice your flashcards for ×3 and ×6 and do your extra math if you're working on that. If you're just doing the flashcards, you can either set a timer for like a minute and 15 seconds and see how many you can do in that time and gradually try to get more and more, or you can time yourself doing a certain number and try to get your amount of time shorter and shorter that you're doing those flashcards. Does that make sense? I hope. All right. Hope y'all enjoyed your math lesson today. Have a happy weekend.